welcome back to Tales from the Grim here on this fine Sunday, whether this is the end of the week or the start of the week for you. Welcome as we rejoin Skychasers, our Call of Cthulhu 7th edition campaign, the finale of which will be next week, but for today we have another flashback as we journey into Maggie's past to uncover something that happened during the war. Before we dive into this, I would like to remind you that you can interact with the stream using the information down below. All of these things will affect the game, and with the players' luck, they might need you. We are in the heart of war-torn Europe at the end of the war. People are scurrying for freedom, for safety. As everything pulls in tighter, someone has to win, and it is at breaking point. A team have assembled for an extraction mission of one Anastasia Grunwald. She's somewhere in this town, but they don't know where. They do know that the previous team sent to extract Anastasia failed, resulting in most of their deaths. They also know that Anastasia is on a cyanide clock, and at the end of the week, their asset will be lost. So, as we dive into a bullet-ridden room somewhere on the second story of a building in this town, we find ourselves at a war table. At the table sit 4 agents. Greg, describe for me how Michael sits and how he appears to those also gathered in this room.
Well, Michael would sit with the back of the chair straddled. He'd be leaning on the back of the chair, smoking a cigarette as he's surveying whatever it is they're looking at, plan of attack, tactics. But even though he's paying attention to what's on the table, he is paying more attention to the people surrounding him, seeing if any of them are giving away indications of additional knowledge. This is a game of poker. The war is a game of chance, and he wants to have all of the inside information he can get.
Who sits opposite Michael at the table? Raise your hand. All right, Regina, describe yourself for us.
Regina is hunched over the table. Despite her affluent upbringing, she has no sense of manners when it comes to physicality. So she is as far forward as she can be. As they talk, when she gets excited, her fists go into the table and she pushes herself even more forward. Probably not the brightest of the bunch, but looking around, she would say she might be the brutest.
Maggie, you are at the head of the table, and opposite you is Elsie. Susie, will you introduce Elsie, please?
Yeah, Elsie is kind of sat, in contrast to the other people, she's sat with her knees together, and she's kind of sat up straight, but that's only because she's looking over the top of a small dog. She has a corgi on her lap with a little neckerchief, so she's kind of looking over him. She always has this smudge of engine grease, something on her cheek, as she's sort of gesturing from around the dog and giving her input, as every now and then she'll stop to scratch him and tell him how good a good boy he is.
And Maggie, at present, what are you telling the group?
So at the moment, Maggie is stood up from her chair, leaning over the table, and I'm assuming we've got a bunch of paperwork out for what it is that we're doing. So what she's doing at the minute is disseminating this paperwork towards everybody, making sure everyone's got the kind of collective documents that we have, but then any specialist documents that each person might need.
Okay. Let's very quickly go around, and if you could describe in one word what you believe your role in this team is as part of this extraction mission. Michael, what is your role?
Michael would definitely be, I'm not sure what the army designation for this particular speciality would be, but bullshit artist. if there is the need to get past or into a place without the use of explosives or firearms, Michael's probably your person. If you need to shoot to get into the mid-pack, but he's a soldier in a different battle.
So, intel and negotiations?
Yeah.
Okay. Elsie, what is your role?
In one word, logistics. She gets people and things where they need to be. But she's also, she's a good shot. She can hold her own in a fight, but logistics is her thing.
Regina.
Muscle.
I like to imagine that literally that's how she introduced herself. She just like does a flex and is like
Muscle.
so me.
Oh, also, I'm Regina.
And Maggie, you are the leader. Although none of these agents do work for the same agency, and so at any time there is possible room for tensions there. You've just arrived in this town, and it is set up time. You know that Anastasi is here somewhere and is connected to local leader Reinhild Tumicelli. What is your plan? You have 7 days.
So I imagine we'll spend at least a good, the first day while we're here, making sure that basically scoping out the local culture. Where do people go? What do people do? Making sure that we blend in with that. So making sure that everyone's got local clothes. And basically information scout for at least a good day or two. Find out who knows who, see if we can get a location on any of these people, and also see if we can identify Anastasi before we move in on anything. And then once we have that, we should be able to then form some kind of extraction plan. Because as of yet, we still don't know whether or not Anastasi will come with us peacefully and happily, or whether or not it's going to be, I don't want to say a kidnapping, but a little bit closer to that.
Okay. Would anyone add to this plan?
I love this plan. I'm proud to be a part of it.
I think Elsie would definitely look about routes into and out of, best ways to get in and out of this town, maybe a bit more inconspicuously, or if we have to go take a main road, she would read this map, whatever we've got, and she'd study it. So even if she's driving, she knows where to go.
Okay, why don't we make a test to see how well Elsie can evaluate and remember the information in front of her. What skill would you like to use, Susie?
Well, navigate?
Yeah, I think navigate makes sense.
Yeah, let's do navigate. Okay, all right, let's go.
Navigation.
That's a fail.
You need to...
Yeah, I'm going to spend the points to look. Yeah.
So we will say with that roll that you have a good working knowledge of the streets of this town. It is a relatively small town, with 4 roads kind of in and out that form almost a cross, with minor roads off of those. So there are kind of 2 directions you could take out of town, not wanting to head further into the country and wanting to move out and away. Okay, team. Would you like this extraction to lead to an aircraft extraction or a boat extraction?
I'm gonna meta vote aircraft because I like Elsie driving planes.
I mean, planes are good, but also in the middle of the war, they will get shot out of the sky. Boats are good, but also submarines and sea mines. So neither are great.
Unfortunately, you do need to get Anastasi out of the country. And quickly.
I think planes are a bit more dramatic than a quiet sea exit.
All
I'm
right.
okay with the plane.
Then yeah, you have two roads. They're both fairly main that you can take out of town to get into the direction of an airstrip you can use. You will need to coordinate with an American contact to make sure there is a plane there ready for you. Maggie, what's the name of your contact with the plane?
We just know him as Rich.
Rich. Great. What I will say then is to signal Rich, you have an agreement to use a flare gun, and that it will be on the Friday unless you contact them to report that something has gone wrong or you are moving up the timeline. Cool. And on reconnaissance, we have Elsie, who has reviewed the roads and has a good idea of where to go and how to get out. She has a working knowledge of where there is a barricade, which will need to be avoided. But that barricade is on the quickest route out of town. So you do have the potential to remove the barricade in the week that you're here. That is up to you. Any other reconnaissance you would like to perform? Michael?
Yes, Michael would like to basically photograph anything that would speak of a pattern. You know, he's looking for traffic. He's looking for official conveyance, whether it be, you know, hither and yon. Even, you know, if the mail is being delivered, he wants to be able to know how often and who are the people that are following these routes. So if there's the need to perhaps take an identity or something of that nature, he won't take somebody that is well known, and you know, it just gives them more options should things go sideways.
Okay, let's do a search for a secret identity. Would you approach this reconnaissance from a distance, or would you do it as an interpersonal reconnaissance, i.e. speaking with people in the town?
Yeah, he'd probably do a little bit of both. You know, he would just to catch names and things that he would miss from a distance. The majority of, like, the aforementioned logistics would be done from a distance, because that could easily be attributed to, you know, courses and things like that. But to actually know names and mannerisms and things like that, he might need to get a little bit closer. So I'd say 60%, 70% distance, 40, 30 close.
All right, I will take a fast talk roll.
Okay, I heard persuade.
I will take a fast talk roll.
Is it a... Okay, well, I might as well not do this then. But I'll go ahead and try it. Ciao. Oh, I'm gonna spend 13 luck.
That was close. Okay. So with this, I will say that you can have a fully functional identity cover. What is Michael's cover?
Bakery delivery man.
Okay.
And if possible, he will make sure that he has the access to the delivery truck. So if it's not fast or flashy, but perhaps their driver extraordinaire can make it such if they need to get the F out of here. So,
Does it say Mr. Fantastic's buns painted on the side?
It's America's ass. I mean, it may. So.
I will say that you have all but talked yourself into a job here under a fake name that you've assumed. And so you will have access to that truck, as well as knowledge of various goings-ons in and out of town that will give you advantage into rolls for that information later on as it comes up. So bear that in mind. Regina, any reconnaissance you perform?
That's me. I'm Regina. So with the information that's left on the table in the war room, can we glean anything further about Anastasi's connections? I know we have names, but anything about their local hangouts or what they might do?
Yes, let's make a... Oh, let me think. What might this be? I'm gonna call this either library use Spot hidden or psychology? Choose your best.
Spot hidden it is.
Okay.
We're doing great today.
So as you pick through the documents on the table, a number of these are things that you've just recently gathered from the failed mission. There was a safe house with a Dropbox which had counts and details in. Unfortunately, the Dropbox seems to have been found and the items within were charred and half destroyed, and you're struggling to put together any useful information from those remains at this time. You may push the roll if you would like to look deeper into these charred remains, but there will be a consequence if you fail.
You know I'm all about pushing it. Let's do it.
You go back through the papers and you find what appears to be a normal letter for a delivery order of milk and bread. Only there's something about it that's bothering you. You have no idea why this would be in with all of the other documents that were in here, and you take it and you remember when you were young the trick of using lemon juice to hide messages on paper. It's low tech, but it works. And so with great care, you manage to expose a message on here, and it says to beware, a name that I'm going to go and check. Beware Nelly. They are the mole. And going back through the documents, you discover a Niels Piaf, who works at a local bar, and you believe that this is the Nelly that is being referred to. Niels was an contact for the previous team who had promised to secure access to Anastasi. And that is what you get with your extreme. So you uncover a big clue for the team.
And I share it with them at that time. So she passes the lemon juiced paper to Mr. Fantastic and, hey, Fantastic, what do you make of this? You know any Niels Piaf?
I do not. I could, though, if you'd like me to.
Well, it seems like this might be somebody, a person of interest, if you will. Beware of Nelly, Niels, Nelly, Niels. Nelly, Niels.
Close enough for government work, sure.
Hey, yeah. Well, it seems like we might want to check this out. What do y'all say? Elsie? Maggie?
I'm down.
I think we should check it out. I mean, if we think that this person's the mole, then we might want to tread carefully.
Well, we go out for a drink tonight. Go down to Niels's bar.
See what's going on. Charlie, have we got paperwork on what happened with the previous team? Any notes that they made while in the field? Because presumably they did their own reconnaissance and planning before.
There's the details that Rosina just went through, and a lot of them were destroyed as the safe house and the drop place had been discovered and bombed, basically. So a lot of it is destroyed, including the photographs of Anastasi that they'd had. So you still remain stuck with the description of female.
Okay. And the contact that supposedly knows Anastasi, the other person that we know she hangs around with, Tumicelli, do we know what he or they do? I'm assuming it's a he.
I would say that Michael, Mr. Fantastic, could have discovered this information whilst going around town. If you would like to make a persuasion roll at advantage, Migro.
Oh, sure thing. Now, persuasion. As I fail it. There we go. With advantage.
The description of Tumicelli, Reinhild, is a squat man, broad-shouldered, with a pencil mustache and a well-slicked hair. He is a snappy dresser, easily recognized as he is the richest man in town and does very well for himself, enjoying imported cigars. Although how he imports cigars to Italy in the middle of the war is a mystery for everyone.
Do we have any information on whether or not he's done any work against the Allies, or whether he has any particular loyalties in terms of the war effort?
With the where's my camera gone? I will try and get that working. Sorry, Greg. With the role made by Michael, you know that the general opinion. There we go. I got it. Sorry about that. The opinion of the locals is he's a piece of shit, but he knows everyone and has access to things that people need, and it's not worth killing him, kind of thing. He's a man that can be bought, but you've got to be real rich now because he's the richest man in town.
Well, I think, Regina, I think you're onto something about heading out to this bar. Let's mingle with the locals, see what we hear.
It should be noted that this town is considered hostile to Allied forces.
Right.
It is enemy territory.
Anybody speak Italian?
Well, yes, I do. I will act as a point for anything that requires conversation or communication.
How would you like to go out for a drink on the US government's money?
I'd love to go out on a drink on anyone else's money, whether it's Uncle Sam's or my Aunt Bertha's. Provided it's not mine, fantastic.
Charlie, did I know any of the previous extraction team? How personal is this for Maggie?
One of the previous extraction team was a friend of Maggie's, and was very good at their job. What is their name, Susie? On you.
Do we have a gender? Okay. Gibby?
I was going to say, probably a woman.
Okay. Just a name. I don't know why, but Lorraine. That is the first name that came to my head.
That's a fine name. All right, so Lorraine was a member of this team. Edelyn, what were Lorraine's talents as a spy?
No, she was highly skilled at like disguise.
There you go. So your very talented friend Lorraine was on the previous team. And with her on the team, you can imagine they were trying to remove Anastasia as subtly as possible. Not a snatch and grab style team. This was a long bake kind of con, which is possibly why they got caught out. Especially with a mole.
Well, I think we're going to have to deal with this mole while we're doing this, so we don't end up like the previous team. And tracking down and seeing if Tumicelli is hanging around with any women at the moment might be useful.
Would you all like Mr. Fantastic to go in first to this bar and then tie one on, of course, on the government dime, and then you all can come in to collect him. He will just drop tips that his relatives are coming to collect him at a later date, but he's supposed to wait right here until such time, and I'll just drink for a couple hours.
That part of the mission, or do you just want to get plastered?
I'm not gonna get drunk. I mean, I'm gonna drink. Where else can you learn when the lips of the potential enemy are loosened with liquor?
Mm-hmm. Got a saying for that back home, but never mind. Yeah, if you want, yeah, I can be an angry relative, come to pick you up. You know.
Sure.
Yeah, I got all right.
Charlie, in this town, have we got information? I know we're in Italy, but are there people here that maybe aren't so much locals but are not Italian? As in, are we going to stand out like a sore thumb because we don't?
No, this is the kind of place where a lot of displaced people have kind of ended up, found safe houses. It's kind of a hotbed of people who claim to be people who might not be those people.
So it's not too suspicious that there's some Americans and British here.
We're in Hollywood.
It would not be super suspicious, but you do know that the Americans and the British would be under suspicion because they are allies, so you would need to make a convincing case for being on the other side.
Well, maybe if we need to, we can play up that we've come over to, I don't know, sell information. That's valuable in the war.
Hang on. It would work for an American, but not a Brit. I'm sorry. There's no way they would buy that I'm selling information. Well, first of all, I'm not that great a liar, but also secondly, I'm British. So it's just not.
Well, you're a driver, so maybe you're here to get people out for a fee.
Maybe.
We're going to have a hard time wandering around this town otherwise, unless we've got cover stories.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
This is not Regina's forte. She is feeling very uncomfortable at this point. She's just ready to, plow on through and crack some skulls. So,
Regina, I know what then. I'm in the business of logistics. Logistics sometimes means moving heavy stuff. Do you want to be my strong muscle?
yeah.
All right, we're in business. I just left for like a handshake and a mock doing business sort of handshake. There we go.
What all languages do you all speak?
I mean, clearly I speak English.
Correct. In addition
There's
to
a
what
little
I've
bit of
currently
French.
heard. Okay. Work with French.
Yeah, I got French.
We can work with French.
I'll be honest, I can't remember what languages I had Maggie speak because I don't think I ever ended up writing them down. I had somewhere in my head that she'd probably have spoken Russian for negotiations, but I don't think I've ever written it down anywhere.
Okay, I will say that you can have Russian and one additional European language.
Ooh. Probably German then.
Okay. Russian and German for Maggie.
Yeah. German and French work real well. So, we can, especially here in Italy, you all can be whatever you would like to be as far as, what are we posing as here? If I got the bakery thing on lockdown, what would you all like to?
What if we merge the bakery thing, right? You're the baker, I'm the driver, she's just the muscle that works at the bakery.
It's soldier and spy, right?
Right?
Right.
And Tetley's the shop dog.
Okay. All right, yeah.
He's a good rat catcher. He's a good lad. Here's him a nuggie.
Sure, yeah, we can do all this. So the first thing we want to do, though, is we want to get Nellie, see if Niels and Nellie are the same person, and then so I'll go and get drunk. I'll see you all in 4 hours.
I could always come in a little while afterwards by myself, which means I can see what happens once you've been dragged out.
The question with that is, when you come in, do you want me to know you? Because if people see us together later, then the assumption is we either came to know one another that night or we were lying about knowing one another that night.
It's up to you. I'm quite happy to order a drink and sit in the back and see if I can, if this guy is around and he's got money, then he's probably the kind of guy that likes to impress a lady.
All right. See you in a few. And Michael would head down to the bar to drinky drink.
On your way through, you pass your landlord and his two sons. They are all arguing in Italian about why they can't go out to play today, about why the war isn't over yet. The general complaints of two very young and frustrated boys. He swats them away as he sees you come down the internal stairs and sends them to their room. He gives you a respectful nod. Since you've been here, he's the kind of man that hasn't spoken a whole lot, mostly just to answer your questions and to fetch whatever it is that you ask him to get you.
He would, politely nod and, talk about the weather or something benign, as he would just, like he's got a place to be, which is, of course, to get drunk. So as long as he doesn't stop him or require anything of him. However, what he would do is if he does see the sons at some point, whether they be around, if they've been sent in somewhere, is if he can make eye contact with them, he would beckon them closer to him as he kneels down.
So I imagine they were sent into the bedroom and they kind of crack the door open and they peer out, wanting to get a look at these new house guests. They've got their own theories about who you are, and you catch their eye, and timidly the oldest of the two kind of comes out, looks to his father, and then back at you.
Fantastic would say in perfect Italian, found a bunch of these. Apparently, people from America, the GIs are bringing them over, but never seen one so made so well. And he pulls out a baseball, and he rolls it over to them. You know what baseball is? And he gestures and makes the hit. You don't need to.
Picks up.
He goes, you talk to your pop, and if you can't go outside, you go to a cellar, or you go to a wall that he doesn't like. And you throw this ball against that wall and catch it. Don't let it get past you. You throw that ball, catch it. Over and over and over until you can do it 100 times without it getting past you. And then we'll talk again.
Thank you. And he takes this ball, this great prize. He's like weighing it up in his hand. It's heavier and denser than any ball he's really familiar with. And he disappears into the bedroom, and you hear a dull thud as this ball is thrown against the wall in there.
And as
the
he
father
walks
kind of winces but looks at you like, all right, cool, thanks.
Hey. And as he leaves, he would mutter to himself, oh, that's all right. I'm sure Chris has plenty of balls.
Okay. And you go down to this bar. It's in the square of town. There's a fountain there, although it has long since been switched off and is kind of brimming with green algae and sludge. There are marks here from explosions and bullets in the walls. But there are chairs and tables outside of a small cafe on this plaza, the bar, as it is referred to. You can hear music in the air crackling out of a radio. A couple of people sit in the chairs outside and they watch anyone approaching, giving them a polite nod, minding their own business behind a newspaper if it's someone they don't know, and so on.
He would just sit down and he would get himself a bottle of wine, sit down, have a glass, smoke some cigarettes, and just enjoy the drink. He is not drinking.
Okay, got it. You sit and you relax. You were brought a small bowl of olives as a snack. Compliments of the house. You're recognized as the new boy at the baker's.
He will nod accordingly, and if provided, he will tin out a kind of a circle of olive oil and rub the olive through the olive oil and he'll begin to eat them as would be the custom of the day.
Mm-hmm. And you are left in quiet. There are a number of tables in the bar. There would be one, I imagine, against the wall, one in the middle with a good view of the entire place, and one on the far side by a small raised platform that acts as a stage for live music in the evenings. What sort of table would Michael be looking for? Or would you sit at the bar?
No, Michael would sit at a table unless it gets crowded. Then he would move to the bar. But he would sit as he's not going to put his back to the wall. He's not going to try to put something for a personal safety or an advantageous position. So he would just sit at the one of the open tables in the middle, as would anyone if they, walked in. He's just going to sit down. No tactical advantage to where he's sitting, other than it just looks like a good place to sit. So he'd take one in the middle. Long story short.
Okay, you sit in the middle. Perfect. Michael has disappeared down to the bar. Elsie, Maggie, and Regina, you are left in this small apartment on the second story of this building. What are you up to in the meantime?
Maggie is getting ready to eventually go and join Michael in the bar. So she's doing up her hair and her makeup in a slightly more, what would have been fashionable for Germany at this period, to make sure that the voice and the accent fits the way that she would dress. She goes over her notes that she has from the CIA in terms of cover story stuff, so making sure that her body language is European, the way that she'd hold a cigarette, the way that she'd name how many drinks she wants, things like that. She goes over that again in her mind to prepare for this before she goes out.
Okay, I would like you to make a disguise roll.
Oh no. Actually, my character sheet says I'm okay at this.
You do have one advantage.
I'm going to use that advantage, Charlie. Because, yay, extreme.
The end. Okay, you prepare hard and practice in German, in English, in accents, the words that you want to do. You check possibly with Elsie and Regina for tips to make sure it all looks right, the back of your hair is correct, and you feel very confident and rehearsed, ready for your entrance. Elsie, Regina, in addition to helping Maggie, is there anything you would like to do in this time?
Yeah, Elsie has a rifle, like a scoped rifle, and she's taking it apart, cleaning it. But she's got like Tetley running backwards and forth with like the brush and bits that she needs. So she'll like click a thing that she needs, and the dog brings it over. And she's just stripping apart and cleaning and reassembling this rifle. She does it a couple of times, and she tries to like do it as quickly as she possibly can and get it in order. So she's just basically running drills on her gun.
Regina has spent the last couple of years training resistance, but has not worked with a group in this kind of dynamic in quite some time. So she sees Elsie and decides that she's going to follow suit, but she sits in the corner. She takes her sawed-off shotgun and starts cleaning it, and slowly and quietly starts humming to herself in the corner.
Do you have a particular song in mind?
In her mind at that time is La Vie en Rose. And she just goes on.
So you all prep your individual weapons. Maggie's subterfuge Elsie and Regina is a little less subtle. And Michael, you sit in the middle of this cafe. It's not a bustling place, but there are people that come in and out going about their business. It's almost believable that there isn't a war occasionally, as people seem relaxed in this building. But then you'll see the newspaper shufflers outside move and shift, and attention will pass through the patrons as they try not to look, try not to glance out the corner of their eye at those two men that sit on that table. And then the two will sit again, and everything will relax and go back to normal. Behind the bar is a young man with well-kept hair in a very long style for the day. Is a little bit longer, but you can tell he takes a lot of effort with it, and he occasionally, as he's polishing a wine glass, will try and catch his reflection, although it has that kind of weird fishbowl effect and isn't really much good for looking at himself. Behind him, you can see occasionally through the kitchen door a woman with great masses of curly hair is busy preparing what smells like a tomato-based dish. There's also the scent of garlic and olive oil. And you see a van pull around the back, and you recognize it as a bakery van. They are having an afternoon delivery of bread, so it will be fresh for the evening's patrons. Is there anything else you would be looking for while you're here?
Anybody that is talking to presumably Niels behind the bar in anything other than a business relationship, ordering drinks. Anybody that stops in to talks to him doesn't get a drink. Just exchanging information, perhaps a lover or a parent or a sibling or something like that. And when the guys from the bakery comes in, I'm assuming that Michael would probably know hey, when they come in, he would, not make a big
We'll
scene.
say it's Roberto and Alphonse, the two bakers.
He would, and if they're done, he would invite them over to drink with him. If this is the end of the day delivery, I mean.
Roberto will decline. He wants to go home to his family, but Alphonse will join you happily, and he'll drink your wine in good measure.
It's not mine, it's Uncle Sam's, and he may have as much as he'd like.
Do you inform him it's Uncle Sam's?
Yeah, I'm a spy, Alphonse. Let's know. It's on me, Alfonso. A new job. 2 new opportunities, and towards the future.
Awesome. And are you speaking in Italian?
Absolutely.
Okay. Alphonse is very happy, and he pours what would be a half glass, not actually being gluttonous with your drink. And he'll raise his glass and take a swallow, and his cheeks instantly flush a warm red color. And he looks at the wine and he nods approvingly and then laughs. He tells you a story of when he was a child, how he would sneak into the vineyards to steal the sweetest grapes from the vine, and how the farmer would come out with his shotgun to chase him away. And he says, "I am quick like a rabbit."
Then drink that wine quicker, my friend, like the rabbit. And he pours some more. Ha
I did not know the rabbit was a drunk, and he merrily
The
drinks
rabbit's
away.
whatever it wants to be.
That is good, that is good. The rabbit is whatever he wants to be. And he stands up with his second glass. He says, "To the rabbit!" And people have no idea why they're cheering a rabbit, but people join in because that is what you do when someone makes a cheer in the middle of a war. You see Niels kind of watch, and during this exchange, a young woman with dark hair, olive skin, you would guess almost certainly Italian, comes over, and they have a quiet exchange in the corner. She seems quite angry with him, but doing her best to keep her gestures small. If you would like to lip read, you can make a spot hidden check.
Can I make a lip read roll?
Do you have lip read as a skill?
I certainly do.
Very nice.
Success.
And you see her say that Mr. Grunwald is not very happy that Niels needs to work harder, that tonight's very important. Niels actually does a pretty good job of covering his mouth, but you do catch kind of a nod of agreement and an understanding, and his eyes move down and away, and as he turns away you can't read his lips, but you can see the physicality of that he's looking at something behind the bar.
To play off the obvious attention that Michael's giving these two, he leans over to Alphonse. My friend, who is that? And he indicates the lady.
No, he's too young for you, Michael.
Well, how are you? Jesus, how old is this kid? Is like 20s or teens, or what are we talking about here?
The girl you would say is probably about 18.
Okay.
16, 17, that range. Niels is only a little bit older.
Oh, okay. Who is she? Does she have a?
Yes,
an
girl,
older
it's
sister?
Francesca. It's a lovely girl. Very good, very good.
To the rabbit!
Rabbit!
Yep. So he'll just sit and watch, and then see if there's anything exchanged between the two. Damn, he needs somebody to follow her, but he can't leave. Actually, nah, he can't leave. He'll stay here.
Okay. And you stay. And Alphonse will tell you kind of little stories about Francesca. She lives at the end of his street and grew up here. Is a very good girl. He'd hoped that she would marry his son, but alas, the war had other plans for his son. And then he becomes more sad and more morose. But he kind of chuckles, and it becomes more a conversation with himself, although it's kind of in your direction.
And would I know where Alphonse lives?
You could ask him.
Where do you live in this fine town?
You want to come and keep me company at home?
I need to know where to carry you if you have too much of the rabbit. To the rabbit!
Rabbit! And he says, I lived just the street behind the bakery. You take a left and then down by the blue door.
Good, I'll find a wheelbarrow and I'll be able to get you home.
Yes, good one. Rabbit!
To the
And it's
rabbit.
like every other swallow now has become a cheer to the rabbit. And he he finds it more and more funny the more he does it. But it's possible the alcohol is just making it funnier.
Possible? Yeah, it's so whenever the cheer goes up from this point forward, Michael will drink, but there's nothing. He's not drinking, shot for shot here with Alphonse.
And as the sun is setting, it's kind of one of those warm afternoons, and it's taking a long time for the sun to begin to move, but the light quality is changing to more of a glow. And you were brought out some fresh toasted bread with it's tomatoes mixed with olive oil and garlic, just as a spread on the top. And it's a fresh kind of thing, and you're given a share, and it's kind of given to everyone that's in the bar at this time.
Michael would wait until everyone has collected a piece before he takes some, since he is new in town.
You're going to get scrawny, you don't eat.
Yeah. We'll see. Rabbit has to stay lean. To the rabbit!
Yeah, to the rabbit. And he's like busy eating now. He's done with the rabbit. It's like now about the food. But the general atmosphere is lifted as the food is brought out. And make me a spot hidden check, unless you have something else in awareness relative to kind of perception.
Success.
That's Even though they're kind of behind you and out the door, you are aware of the two men who had been sat at that table, and they get up and they leave. You can kind of see them make their way across the plaza and out of sight. Glancing back to the bar, Niels is watching them leave too.
Michael would take that time to go to the bar and get another bottle of wine, just to interrupt him from his trance or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Another. And he goes down and he pulls up a bottle for you. I need the other one back though.
Sure,
What
sure.
are you telling Alphonse? Something about the rabbit?
Told me the story of when he was a child and he would go into the vineyard to steal the sweetest grapes, and he was quick like the rabbit. So we drink to the rabbit, because he must be quick to survive life in the war.
I see. Is there anything else I can get for you, friend?
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you.
And he'll wait for Maggie to show up because he needs backup big time. There's too many variables hitting here.
Okay. Maggie, is there anything else you would like to do before you go down to the bar?
No, once she's managed to kind of do herself up as a not too well off, but a kind of well polished kind of German woman, she'll check with Elsie and Regina, make sure she looks okay, find out if there's anything that they want or need while she's on her way out, anything specifically that they want her to look for. And once that's done, she will head down to the bar.
Nothing from Elsie that she needs.
If they got any food down there, like olives or maybe tomato on some bread.
I'll try my best for you, Regina.
Thanks.
And Maggie, as you go down, you see two gentlemen walking away from the bar, and the general atmosphere inside is good. They're all yelling about something and cheers, but you don't speak Italian, so you don't recognize the word that they are yelling.
She takes note of it, but continues towards the bar. She shifts her attitude slightly. If people seem more jovial, she'll pull back on what she was planning, which was quite a very kind of strict, clipped German accent, but will relax and be a bit more jovial. She now knows the mindset that's happening in this bar.
And Michael, you'll see Maggie come in, although she's much changed from how she had been earlier. From her posture to her hairstylings to the clothes she is wearing.
Depending upon the level of intoxication of Alphonse, and also knowing that Alphonse is married, correct? Or is that...
Yeah.
Okay. He would like clap the side of Alphonse's shoulder when Maggie would walk in, and he'd go, "Now, who's that?"
I don't know this woman. Very attractive, much more your age.
How dare you? Yeah, so that he would just do that, and then to play it off, he is going to watch and see how everybody else reacts to Maggie's entrance.
As Maggie comes in through the door, she will, in like her periphery, spot Michael, but will purposely not make eye contact with him. She'll kind of lightly scan the bar like anyone would as they walk in, and then almost in that kind of slightly awkward female fashion, walk to the bar, take a seat at it, and kind of wait for somebody to notice and come over to her, as opposed to joining in too much in the loud, jovial nature just yet.
Niels will come almost directly to you, bringing over a small bowl of olives. And he says, "Good evening" in Italian.
She will turn to him and look and ask in German, with a very kind of soft, kind of dainty accent, if he speaks German.
He apologizes, and you can tell his German isn't very good, but he said, "My apologies, miss. Is there anything I can get for you this evening?"
She will ask for a schnapps, a German schnapps. But she'll kind of preface it with like, do you have that here? Do you have schnapps?
"I will take a look." And he goes down behind the bar, and there's a shuffling of crates and the clink of glass. And he pulls out a bottle, and it's a peppermint schnapps that he has. It's a clear liquid. But you can smell it as soon as there's that pop of the cork out the top, just this peppermint that wafts out. "We normally save this for Mr. Grunwald, but if you like it..." And he'll find a clean glass, wipe it out again for you, and pour a small measure.
She will, thank you very much. I hope that I have not taken too much away from your regular patrons, and will obviously take the glass and kind of raise it to him, making sure that she holds it in that very European fashion and takes a sip from it and will seem pleased. And then we'll just kind of glance around, looking at the atmosphere.
And he explains to you in broken German, he's struggling for the word rabbit, and he says, "We're drinking to the long-eared mouse," because he can't think of the word rabbit.
She gives him a slightly quizzical look. And in German, she will just say, "To the rabbit," and take a sip.
And as you're watching, Michael, you definitely would have noticed Neil's very interested in this stranger that had walked in, taking note particularly of her dress and styling. You see that he's paying close attention to her, but then he's been attentive to most of the patrons here. There are a couple of people definitely watching Maggie, but it's much like with the gentlemen out on the plaza, they're doing their best not to be obvious about it. "You should not marry anyone too young. It is nothing but trouble. Take it from me." What is your undercover name again?
My undercover name?
Yeah.
Arturo.
Arturo. "Take it from me, Arturo. There's nothing but trouble in young girls. You want a woman who knows what she's doing."
I'll take your word for it, my friend. You seem an expert in such things.
"I have been married a very long time."
Knowing that does not make you an expert, Michael will just nod. Agreed.
And he'll continue to kind of babble his opinions on your romantic life. You get the impression that he would very much like to adopt you under his wing, and that's the impression that you've had since you kind of got the job at the bakery. Alphonse is very interested in you.
So his job now is to get Alphonse completely smashed. And he can do so, and as he's doing so, he's just gonna like lean into him and sing with him, and or calm him from singing if they get too loud or boisterous for the bar. And if at all possible, he is going to, if he can, make eye contact with Maggie at some point and just nod an affirmative, and then look at Niels as if confirmation has been made.
Maggie will spot this, and just in case anyone catches it, she will do the kind of slightly looking down, blushing, like, "Oh, someone's just caught my eye," like nodded over. "I don't really know what to make of this." Sure, just in case, because there are people watching. Out of interest, is either Michael or is it Alphonse, the guy that he's talking to? Are either of them smoking?
Michael
is absolutely
drinking a lot.
Okay. Because at some point Maggie knows that her and Michael are going to have have some kind of conversation in case they're seen together later. So she will put her handbag up on the bar top, and she's searching around in it. She'll pull out a kind of nice silvered cigarette case, clip it open only to find it empty, and kind of quite visibly sigh, put it back in, and continue looking for what would assumably be some cigarettes that she clearly doesn't have.
As soon as he organically notices this, even though he probably would have noticed it right away, Michael would simply hold up his wrap, like his trifold, and let an angle of it dangle as he shows that he has several cigarettes that she could have. And he, in Italian, says to her, "Cigarette?"
And she will reply to him questioningly, go, "Zigaretten," and point to herself and reach over, take one, and do the very typical thing of waiting for somebody to light it for her.
Mm-hmm. And he will light and then pretend as if he drops his matches, and as he comes back up, he is going to whisper "Niels," and he's going to whisper "Two Men Mafia" as he comes up and lights the cigarette.
She lights it, will thank him in German, and take a very long drag as if she's really been needing one of these, and will almost kind of naturally shift closer to these two men now that there's the social exchange of the cigarette.
Malena, you come to sing for us! You hear Alphonse call out to someone who's just walked in. And you see a stunning woman has walked into this bar, and she steps straight up onto the platform, and she waves her hands, and the patrons who know her fall quiet. Good evening. I would like to sing for you a couple of songs to support your evenings and to take you to a good place. And she's speaking in it's a broken Italian. It's not good Italian. And she begins to sing, and Alphonse kind of, his head goes to a chin as his eyes are definitely like seeing three of this woman, and he sways lightly to the song, and Niels' attention is drawn to Marlena as well. But then suddenly from the plaza there's the crack of a gun being fired, and Marlena's head explodes like a watermelon into a bloody mess. The entire bar scrambles and dives for cover as another crack echoes out in the night. What do you do?
Maggie fakes a scream and a panic to ensure that she doesn't just, she's used to hearing gunfire, so she needs to react like anyone else would. She will duck down, still cigarette kind of in hand, knocking the glass over, and see if in that moment of everyone ducking, she can get closer to Michael, because he's now the only person that she's really interacted with in this bar.
Right, and Michael would grab Alphonse, and he doesn't want to do it well, but he wants to do it effectively. He wants to get both Maggie, Alphonse, and himself behind one of the tables, but at the same time, he wants to see how Niels is reacting to all of this.
Okay, so make a spot hidden for Niels. As I'm going to say that you're going to need to use kind of your peripheral vision to be watching him and grabbing Alphonse, who's in the other direction.
I'm going to use an advantage if that's okay. Can I call it after, or?
Yep, that's fine. Okay.
Jeez,
so you see Niels, as the gunshot rings out, almost instantly duck down behind this bar, his head disappearing out of view. You see him peek up. It's not too far from you because you were stood at the bar, and he's looking and he's watching, but his eyes aren't in the direction of Marlena. His eyes are out the window, and he's looking for something outside on the plaza. He moves kind of along the bar towards the kitchen. In the kitchen, you can hear shouts back there. people want to know what's going on, but they're afraid to come and look. Another gunshot rings out. This is the third, and everyone keeps getting lower and lower to the ground. Alphonse is doing what he can to crawl towards the stage, towards the fallen girl. If you would like to drag him away from that, you would need to roll a brawl check.
No, Alphonse is on his own now. His concern is with Maggie. And as soon as he gets a moment, he would look at Maggie, and in German, he would say, "We can't let Niels get away."
Maggie kind of nods, keeping up this frightened act. And, you know, as I assume this happens as that other gunshot rings out, Maggie knows that, you know, being a woman and how she might be viewed in this is that people will expect her to be frightened. So she will try and move and get around behind the bar. Like anyone would, I imagine, like people are trying to get behind tables or bits of wall. She's going to go behind there because that way she can see into the kitchen as well, and the window that Niels is looking out of. And when she's behind there, she just wants to do a quick scan. Is there anything out of place? And what can she see with the kitchen staff? Is Niels, does it look like he's leaving? Or is it he's talking to people out there? You're muted, Charlie.
Make a spot hidden for me. Elsie, Regina, you can hear the gunshots. They're in the distance, but you know, Elsie, with your knowledge of the town, that it would be somewhere near the middle of town from where you are.
Would I have like a vantage point on the plaza from where we're staying, or would we have to move?
You would have to move. You can't see the plaza from here. If you could get up onto the roof, you could probably have a view. But from the second floor story window, it kind of looks into a courtyard on one side and a street on the other side.
Mm-hmm. So she would immediately look to Regina and say, "We've got to go."
Yeah, I think so. Let's get to the team.
Yep. So she slips a rifle on her shoulder. She's got a pistol with her, and she's like, "Come on, Telly, let's go!" And out the door.
Right. So you take the quickest route. You know which way to go. We've established that already. Is there anywhere on this plaza that you would like to enter in? You have the fountain in the middle, and it's kind of the 4 streets come into this place. This is the cross on the map. And the bar is on the eastern side.
I would like so I can see the bar. So we've got a good vantage point on the bar, but also being aware of any higher up like windows or like a clock tower, anything that I know a sniper could be in, because we've heard the shots, so we know that there's someone shooting. So her, you know, head's on a swivel looking for any sort of position a gunman could be in.
There is a bombed out church on the northern side of the plaza. That if you were a sniper, that's where you'd be.
Mm-hmm.
It's rickety, it's destroyed, but there are still places of height if you were willing to climb. You are coming up from the south. The bar is on the east, the church is on the north, and there's a western side, which is mostly kind of shop fronts.
Mm-hmm.
Similar.
Is there anyone else like in the plaza outside the bar? Is that pretty much cleared out?
The plaza itself seems to be emptied. You notice a few people are kind of peering out of windows and doorways on the alleys that kind of go off of the plaza. But the plaza itself is dead and nothing is moving. A lot of people, it seems, are kind of holding their breath out of sight. And it's that feeling of waiting.
So Regina turns to Elsie and says, "Listen, I say we gotta shit or get off the pot. Either we're going in the bar or we're checking out that church, but we gotta do something fast because we're easy pickings out here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, see, I'm best at range. I don't know. Should I stick out here? You go in, I cover you? Or you go in and I cover you up to the door and then I got your back?
Yeah, if you think going in is the best option. I mean, do I need a story?
I don't know. There's a sniper out there. I mean, that's a pretty good story.
That's fair. All right.
Just scream a lot in French.
Sounds good. And she grabs her shotgun and goes running into the bar, screaming in French.
I've got my rifle on the clock tower, just watching, see if anybody appears.
And there is another shot that rings out as Regina runs to the bar. Regina, I'd like you to make a dexterity roll, please. Or a stealth, if you have the stealth skill.
Let's see here. Oh, it's good dexterity. I'll spend the luck.
Okay. You managed to make your way there and cover. You believe there is a sniper out here, so it would make sense to me that Regina wouldn't just run brazenly through the middle of the plaza. And you hear the gunshot, the bullet hit the wall just beyond you as you clear and you slide kind of into the cafe and into cover. Inside, Michael, Maggie, you've got your eyes on Niels, who is down behind the bar. He's looking for something. In the kitchen, you can tell there are probably 2 or 3 people. You can hear their voices and they're fairly distinct from each other. With your spot hidden hard success, is there anything else you're looking for, Maggie? You're muted, V.
She's looking to see if, is anyone going for something that they shouldn't? Like somebody trying to retrieve something from a drawer or behind something on a shelf. It's that kind of trick of, asking somebody where they keep their safe and watching them until they look over at a painting or something. She's looking to see who's doing something that doesn't look quite right for what's happening.
For the most part, you see people looking for their weapons that they have with them. A number of them have kind of handguns and pistols, and they are drawing those, and they have those down at their sides. Alphonse is going for Marlena, who's up on the deck, just kind of bleeding out and a mess. Most people are cowering. Niels is the only one who is almost unusual, but it's mostly because you can't see what he's looking for behind the bar. But he's looking for something.
Can she kind of, as these shots are ringing out, try to get behind the bar, playing up that kind of frightened and trying to get some kind of cover so she can get a better look at what he's looking for?
Yeah, you could move around. Michael, what would you be doing as Maggie moves, attempting to move around and behind the bar?
What he'll do is, if these are circular tables, he's going to roll one to cover Maggie as she, this is like beginning of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. He's going to get behind the gong and use the tabletop to kind of roll and protect from any shots that might come in, or at the very least, limit the sniper's field of vision, and cover Maggie as she goes, still maintaining his Arturo personality and Italian whenever he's asked or yells or does anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Maggie, you get down behind the bar and you will see Regina come in through the front door. It's noticeable because she is the only person to use that door. No one else here has moved to the door or through it. And you see Niels down behind, and he's scrambling through a box which topples open and onto the floor, and you see a number of guns in straw are in this box, and he's looking for one of these, and he's attempting to load it as quickly as he can.
Maggie will shout out to him among the chaos, kind of in German, asking what's happening.
And he says sniper in Italian, and then he corrects and he says gun in German, and he's scrambling and he looks at you and frowns. I would like you to make, I'm going to say, another disguise roll.
Okay.
And because you've been keeping your act up, this will be an easy. Okay,
not even a little bit, Charlie.
And he looks at you, and there's something in your determined posture as you come around that's caught his eye. And he says in Italian and then in German, "Whose side are you on?" And he has the gun loaded at this point.
So when the information that we didn't have any further information about him, did we?
No. Only that he was a mole, if his name is in fact Nelly. And
so
if he's a mole, working for the Germans or the Italians here.
Okay. Does Maggie detect in his Italian accent, or even in his German accent, probably actually, does it sound like he's making it forcibly broken?
Make a psychology check for me.
Oh no.
As it happens, Elsie, outside, you're looking for the sniper. I would like you to spot hidden as you attempt to figure out where the gunshots are coming from and to see if you can spot any movement on the plaza.
All right. Okay, use an advantage. I have 2 of them.
Yes, you can.
Success! Just.
Just. You are staring hard at the burnt out husk of the stone church across the plaza. And you are counting the shots. You know he probably has 2 more left in that rifle. One was just wasted on Regina. And you stare and you wait. And there's a movement. It's the smallest of movements in the dark. And for half a second, you're not sure you saw it. You're not sure if your eyes were just making shapes in the shadow, but it's there. You saw a movement, and you're pretty sure if you train on that location, that is where the sniper is right now.
Okay, I am going to fire back a shot. Even if I don't have a super clear shot on where the sniper is, it will be close enough that it would make them sort of recoil and sort of stop firing for a moment.
Okay, so this will be a fighting check and then the appropriate gun.
Okay, so I just, because I've got the weapons done, do I just hit that button?
I think it's firearms, sorry. And it'll be yes.
Extreme success.
Oh, extreme success. So you load it up and you lock in on where that movement is and you fire out. I'd like you to roll the damage, please.
Okay, hang on. Where's my damage? Oh, it's
You
2d6
did.
plus 4.
You did. It's 12.
Oh, it's 12. I did the damage. It's 12.
Yeah, I didn't want you to roll it again. It's real good.
Yeah. I'll take that.
And your gun, it just bounces off of every, because this isn't a suppressed rifle, correct?
No,
You're using-
no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. The sound just ricochets and bounces around this echo of a plaza. And you hear the shouting in the bar as people are confused. No one really knows what is going on. What do you do?
So now I've shot back and the sniper will hopefully abduct. I'm going to use that opportunity to sprint for the bar.
Okay. And you sprint and you make it to the doors and you go into the cafe.
So I assume now I see Maggie being basically held at gunpoint by this bartender who's suspicious of it, or is he?
Have line of sight from the door. They're both behind the bar, kind of
Right.
semi-crouched because they're taking cover. So you don't have line of sight. You will see Regina's in there, and Mr. Fantastic is crouched behind a table. You'll be able to make that out probably from the door. There is a man crawling up onto a stage where a woman has been brutally murdered by a sniper, and there are a lot of panicked people who turn and look at you as you come through the door and look to Regina as well, their guns ready, as no one is sure what is going on.
So like I come in the door, I still got my gun up, and I'll just say in French, "Is everybody okay? What's happening?"
And there's a lot of shouts of where is he in Italian and gun, and it's just confusion. It's pure panic and confusion. And someone shoots out into the plaza with a revolver. They're crouched down by a window and they're just taking shots. You have no idea.
Whoa, sniper in the church, church, English, church.
Okay. Make a persuasion roll for me. Regina, what would you like to do at this time? As there are guns being drawn and aimed and fired, and Elsie has come in.
Regina will turn to Elsie at the door, say, "Did you see anything outside? Did you get anything?"
I got a shot at the church, but I don't know if I hit.
All right. Let's get to Fantastic and Maggie and see what we could do. And she, with her shotgun in hand, advances into the bar towards Michael and Maggie, telling everybody in French as she's going, "Just calm down. It's all right."
Maggie, whose side do you tell Niels you're on? You're muted, Virginia.
Every time. She looks at him, looks out of the window where these shots, she can still hear these shots being fired, and says, "Does it matter? Because I'm guessing we're not on theirs," and just points to the window and says this in German. And almost looks at the box of guns, holds her hand out. She's trying to make the point that right now it doesn't matter. Everyone in here is being pinned down. Mm-hmm. This is not the time to have this kind of argument or conversation.
Okay, make a persuasion roll, and I'm going to say this is easy because your logic makes a lot of sense.
Persuade. I'm going to spend the 4 points of luck, because Roll20 hates me.
I don't know what you've done, but you need to make an offering to someone. Niels will kind of give like a half nod of agreement, and he pushes open the kitchen door and indicates you should go through the kitchen.
Maggie, as she goes, will turn to look at Elsie and Regina and kind of give them that slight nod of like, "I'm fine." In that kind of, don't worry about me, let me do this. And will make her way into the kitchen as she's been directed.
And I'll say that you will be able to spot Maggie as she gets to the kitchen door, because it's there and she'll need to get up a little bit to go through it. So you'll be able to see Maggie exit and give you a nod.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, what are you up to as this is going on?
Michael's gonna be any way he can support Maggie, but at the same time, catch a look at anything that's going on here. If he sees that this is going on with Maggie, if there's a way that he can maybe get at the end of the bar and lean up against so he can be in earshot of this conversation that's going along between the two without blowing his cover, he'd do that. But if at any point he believes that she is in mortal danger, he's going to act.
Okay. You will see Niels have his gun ready. It's not so much that it's pulled and aimed at Maggie, but it's definitely there and it's loaded. And he'll ask her whose side you on, and Maggie will say, "It doesn't matter. We're all kind of stuck in here." And he'll let her in through the kitchen. He begins to pick up the additional straw and a gun that has fallen out on the floor and be tidying it away. His head still ducked low. He's talking to a couple of the guys in Italian. He can't see them, but he knows they're in here. We'll say like a Benny and a Regino. He just calls out to them, "Where are you? Can you see them? What's going on?" And it's that kind of conversation. But the gunshots have stopped, aside from the revolvers which are being fired from in the bar out.
Charlie, let's take a quick break, 5 minute. I'm going to reset the stream and see if that helps a bit. We're having real bad thunderstorms here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll be back in 5, everybody. So if the stream goes down, it'll come right back up. But I'm going to try to just reset everything and see if that helps a bit. We'll be right back, friends.
So when we'd left, the team were all inside the bar on the plaza. Maggie had just been shooed into the kitchen by Niels after a brief exchange where he demanded to know whose side she was on. She told him it didn't matter. They were all caught in the bar. Michael had been giving cover and keeping a watchful eye on Maggie, but since she had not faced any mortal danger, hadn't exposed himself. Meanwhile, Elsie argues with a man whose name I'm going to say is Regino, down beneath a window as he takes pot shots out into the plaza. She tells him it's the church, it's a sniper, but he's unconvinced, and the panic is continuing to spread in the bar as a number of other patrons begin to shoot. Regina is there as well as backup and sees Maggie disappear into the kitchen. A nod from Maggie to her team that she is okay. She knows what she's doing. I'm going to go to Regina. Edelyn, what is your character doing in this moment?
So she's working her way through the bar and again, just telling everyone to stay calm, get down, stay down in French. And works her way towards the back where Mr. Fantastic is behind the table. And she says to him, "Hey, Fantastic, what's the deal with Maggie going into the kitchen?"
She's chasing or with Niels.
Niels? She's with Niels?
Yes, she was with Niels. Yes, I was getting shot at, and there was a thunderstorm. Oh wait, no, there wasn't. Just for somebody else. And so we're working, and we're gonna figure it out. But what's going on out there?
Well, we think there's a sniper in the church across the way. Elsie took a shot, but I mean, who knows? We haven't heard any gunshots since.
Is that
What's the
this
plan
moment?
here?
Is that this moment that you hear a vehicle driving into the plaza, and there is a sound of more gunfire, and it comes into the cafe like a hailstorm. And I need everyone still in the cafe to make a dexterity check. If you are currently behind cover, such as Mr. Fantastic and Regina, you will have advantage.
Does that include Maggie, or is she?
You are in the back. You are out of sight.
Success for Fantastic.
Okay.
Success for
Success.
Regina.
Successes all around.
These bullets rain into this cafe, and there are cries of pain, gunshots fired back out into the dark, and it's a chaos of steel and blood, but all of you manage to avoid injury for now. What would you like to do? We'll do this kind of as an initiative order. We'll go Michael, Elsie, Regina, purely so we have a nice flow. Michael, you're behind the table with Regina.
Michael's going to want to clear back into wherever Maggie is, and provided he wants to make sure that whatever was going on between her and Niels, he helps Maggie's situation. So he wants to get back there, and if that means, like running into Niels accidentally, knocking him flat, then he'll do that. But he's just going to burst into the back and try to see if he can work that to his advantage.
Okay, so you burst into the back, and Niels has literally just gone through there following Maggie. Under his arm is this big box. In his other hand, a revolver. And it won't be too difficult to knock him over if you do want to literally knock him over.
Yeah, it's exactly what he wants to do.
Okay, so that'd be, I'm going to say fighting check, brawl, or a straight strength.
I'll go with a strength.
Okay.
Hard success.
Okay, and you just, as you come in through the door in a burst of energy, plow into his back, and he's off balanced forwards. His head kind of cracks into the tile floor of the kitchen. The box goes out from his arm. He keeps a hold on the revolver. Luckily, his finger isn't on the trigger, so there is no errant shot from the gun. But he's there down on the ground at Maggie's feet.
Charlie, how many other people are in this kitchen?
There are 3 other people in this kitchen. You see them, there's a middle counter, and then there's a bank of ovens, grill, that kind of set up on that side. And then on the side, on the wall that you're in, this is where all the produce is against this wall. And there's a back door at the end of it.
As this happens, is Michael close enough that he could have reasonably knocked Maggie to anyone's view as Niels falls?
Niels could have easily knocked into you because you're just in front of him. So if you want to use that to do something, you could do that. If you'd like.
Well, what I was hoping is that Maggie spotting the back door will try and wave the other 3 people in here out, because presumably that goes the opposite way to the plaza out front.
Yeah.
if she can wave them out of that door and they leave, Maggie basically wants to use the momentum of him hitting the ground to then like pull him down with her as soon as those 3 people are out, so that it's just her, Niels, and Michael in this kitchen.
I would like you to make a persuasion roll to wave the 3 out.
Oh gosh, here we go. It's a fail. Can I push it?
Yes, you can.
Nope.
Okay. So 2 of the kitchen staff go. They go. They don't need much persuasion as you indicate to them the back door. But the larger woman with the great big curly hair, she's talking to Niels in hurried Italian, and he's trying to talk to her back, but he's currently kind of down on the ground with the box, and she's not going. I'm going to pause this for a moment. We will come back to this scene. Elsie, you are next in my initiative.
So having just taken cover from that hail of bullets, she's going to turn to, I think he was called Regina, the guy that was arguing with her, and she's just going to say, arrête, in French, and just give him that, like, fucking stop this shit look. And then she's going to run to the back, towards where the kitchen is, but she's going to have her back to the kitchen door, so she's, like, watching that entrance to make sure nobody else can come in that way. But she's going to hunker down, like, crouch down, just in case there's another hailstorm of bullets.
So you're going to the kitchen door behind the bar?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yep, you can kind of do that. A few people are kind of scrambling in that direction as they see you go, but there's a lot of bodies and debris, and you can tell that whatever gun just empties its magazine into this building can probably be reloaded very soon. So you make your way down and behind. Regina, what would you like to do?
So the table where Regina and Michael were, where Regina is now, that's close to the kitchen door?
Yeah, it's kind of at the end of the bar, and then it's a straight run down to the kitchen door behind the bar.
So she's kind of intercepted Elsie. They're both around the kitchen door together. She tells her, you know, Michael went inside there in the kitchen, followed Maggie in. I'm all about, you know, just keeping cover, keeping watch. I got short range here with the shotgun.
Go in, go. I got the door.
All right. You let us know if you need anything.
Will do.
It's got her shotgun and kind of back shoulders the kitchen door open and goes in slowly, kind of checking things out as she goes.
Elsie, where's Tetley?
He's with me. He's at my feet. He follows me closely in a combat situation. He's a battle-trained corgi.
He is a battle-trained corgi. But we did say that it gives you advantages on perception checks, correct?
We did, yeah.
I would like you to make a perception check of some description. So it'd be a spot hidden, or if you want to make an argument for something else to do with awareness.
Listen.
Yeah, sure.
I'm listening for.
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
listen. It works.
Success.
Okay, you hear the sounds of 3 to 4 people exiting that vehicle, and the gunfire begins again. And it just hammers into the wall above the bar. There's an explosion of glass as it hits a bottle. More people are shouting, crying. There's a lot of pain in this room as you are all but trapped. And a number of people now want to get to that kitchen door. You don't need to understand Italian to know what they're calling about to each other, about how to get out of this building. Michael, in the back, Regina comes in through the kitchen door and calls into you. You can see Maggie has just waved out 2 people, and there's a third woman who is arguing and talking to Niels in Italian. You understand that she's saying, my son, what do I do? This is chaos, this is madness. Who did you argue with?
Can Michael, as he bursts in and all this goes down, can he kind of collect himself as he's pulling himself up? He wants to push Niels back down, though. Like, as he's getting up, he's using his lift to keep Niels on the ground. And when he does that, he wants to yell in Italian to everybody else in there, my God, they're coming in the front. To see if he can get them to just jet out the back. And he's waving at them. Go!
And the woman hesitates and she says, "My boy, you're on my boy. He needs to go. What are you doing?"
I would like to attempt to persuade her. I have him. And
Make me that persuasion roll.
okay, douche. That's a hard.
She looks utterly torn, and you see her collect a number of things, a sharp knife and a very heavy pan, as she goes out that back door, and she says, I'll wait on the corner. And she'll go.
As soon as she is out of that room, Maggie is going to grab Niels by like the top back collar of his shirt as he's trying to get up. And did he give her a gun when she held her hand out for one? I can't remember.
No, he didn't.
No.
He put it back into the box, but the box is now on the floor. He let go of it as Michael kind of bowled him over, and he still has a gun in his hand.
Maggie will grab him by the collar, and because he's still kind of on, I guess, on the front on his floor, over the top of him, put her hand around the wrist that's got the gun, and will whisper in his ear without her German accent and say, So you killed a few Americans a while back. Now it looks like you've pissed somebody else off. So you're going to come with me quietly, and perhaps you don't die here.
And he lets go of the gun. His kind of grip on it relaxes, and he turns to you. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't killed any Americans. But yes, I think I'm in trouble.
She'll haul him up by his back collar, take the gun off him if he'll give it to her, and basically just looking over at Michael with that kind of look of, we're going, and we're going now. March him out of the back door, and hopefully in the opposite direction to whatever corner his mother is waiting on.
Okay, I'd like you to make a spot hidden to kind of spot the mother without you being spotted, is the way I'm going to play that.
Oh, damn it. Can I push that roll, Charlie?
Hold on one second. I don't want you to get in super big trouble. Can I assist with that? What he's going to do is, you said that there was tomato and tomato sauce and stuff back there. He's going to grab some and splash it on the side of his shirt, his baker's outfit, and he's going to, as soon as she comes out, he's going to stumble out as if he has been wounded, and he's going to try to shield Niels and Maggie from whichever direction the mom's in.
Okay, I'll say then, how would I make you roll this?
I believe it is read lips.
I don't know if it's a read lips somehow.
Spot hidden? Like I'm trying to get between them?
What about stealth? How does that sound?
Yeah, I'll take stealth. Stealth's fine.
Right.
I have 2 advantages. I'm going to use one of them right now.
Okay.
Chow. I don't need it, but let's see how good I can get. Chow. Still a success.
All right. And so this gambit is played out as the tomato sauce stained Michael tumbles into the alley, which is actually fairly dark now as the sun has sunk a fair way, and towards the mother figuring out where she is. And Maggie, you have a chance to make a break for it and drag Niels with you and away. With that success, I'll say it's a team effort. We'll just use the one roll. So cut back. Regina, you see Michael grab tomato sauce, throw it all over himself, and cover as Maggie and Niels vacate the premises via the back door. What would you like to do?
So Regina swings open the kitchen door with her elbow and says, "Hey, Elsie, Tetley, come on, we're on the move." And calls them into the kitchen and follows out Maggie and Michael, grabbing some Italian bread on her way out of the kitchen. Maybe dip it in the tomato sauce on Michael's chef's coat. Waste not, want not.
Elsie, you see a guy look up and over at you and says, Americana.
Now
And
love English.
narrowed in.
No.
And you say that and you go through the kitchen?
Mm-hmm. Tetley following behind.
Okay. And you know your way around this town, so you would know there's a road and it just can circle back and down to the south, back towards your safe house, unless there is somewhere else you would all like to go.
Maggie's probably thinking the safe house because it's further away from this plaza area.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably no one has seen us come from the safe house to the bar because we all came separately.
What's closer? Is it our safe house or the bakery? Because I know that they're done their shift because the baker's just dropped off the stuff at the bar.
The bakery isn't far, but it is on the other side of the plaza. It's on the western side of the plaza.
Okay, I'll keep that in my back pocket.
So, in kind of a direct route, the bakery's technically closer, but it would mean running across the open where there are hostiles. The safe house is a little bit farther away, but safer.
Do we all feel okay bringing Niels to the safe house?
No.
Maggie, you have a lot of Niels, so you, in a way, can make this decision as the others come out behind you. Which way would you be going?
She would be going to the safe house because worst comes to worst, they can keep him there. And if he is who we think he is and he is uncooperative, Maggie is CIA. She's got no problem putting this guy down.
Okay.
Rules are not a thing for her right now.
And so Elsie and Regina, you burst out that back kitchen door. There are a number of people actually following you, and there's some chaos, but it's easy for you to spot Mr. Fantastic stumbling around the alley. Mr. Fantastic, do you follow Maggie and Niels?
Yeah, but he's going to kind of loop a bit, and then just if anybody looks like they're going to come to, get to Niels, like the mom or anything like that, he just waves away, and as Elsie and Regina burst out, he's going to run as if they're the ones that have been causing the trouble.
All right. I'll say this gambit goes through and you can all reconvene at the safe house a few moments later. You can still hear the gunfire echoing around the Italian town, both sides taking pot shots at each other. There's shouting in the streets and a raising of tension. When you come home, the host and his two sons are nowhere to be seen, but it's likely they are locked away in the back bedroom. The house remains as if it's in a state of paused in time. You can see dinner was halfway through being prepared and the lights are still on.
Maggie is going to, go through the door, shove Niels. I'm assuming that we're in like an upstairs room or something, like a spare room.
You're in the second floor. Yep.
Take him upstairs. She's still got him by the collar and like the top of the arm, so he can't really go anywhere. And basically strong arm him through that door. Still with her hand, grab the nearest chair, put it down, and literally almost throw him in it. And she's now got the gun as well, which she's got by her side. And she waits for she won't say anything to him. She'll just give him a hard stare until everybody else is in the room.
And he's pale and shaking. He protests a little, but not convincingly, and is thrown into this chair. Michael, Elsie, Regina, make your way back to the safe house, and you find the same scene. Not far ahead of you, Maggie has dragged Niels and is upstairs. You can kind of hear the bang of a chair being pushed down hard onto the ground and a man kind of thrown into it. What would you like to do?
So when Elsie gets upstairs, she clicks with her fingers at the feet of Niels in the chair, and Tetley sits and starts growling. And he's all like hunched up and like angry looking. But then Elsie posts at the window with her rifle, keeping an eye on the street to see if they were followed and if anybody is approaching.
Okay, you're straight side. Good to know.
Yeah.
Regina, what do you do?
Regina approaches Niels. She grabs another chair and just kind of sets it down in front of him and just sits down, leans her elbows on her knees, and starts cracking her knuckles, just staring him down.
Okay, make an intimidation roll for me, please.
I will.
I think that's Call of Cthulhu skill.
Oh, yeah, it is. Ah!
The guy literally shrinks down and I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not who you think I am. I swear it, I'm not. I don't know what you think I've done, but I haven't killed any Americans. And he just is spilling this, I'm not who you think I am, please stop. And Mr. Fantastic. Tomato sauce.
Yeah, he's going to be stripping out of that baker's at least the shirt, and switching into something else, as he's going to ask Niels two things in Italian. One, where is Anastasi? And two, what was my second one? Who's Nellie?
Okay. So he snaps to you because you're speaking Italian, and his brain processes that way quicker than it does English or any other language. And he says, Anastasia, how do you know this name? You're like them, aren't you? I can help you, I will tell you. She is with Grunwald.
Where?
No, she is Grunwald. She is with Tumacelli.
Where?
He has a house. He keeps his favorites there. Sometimes he brings them into town. He likes to show them off and take them to see the singers. That's why we had Marlena.
Yeah, had. Where's his house?
He says he's up on the hill. And he kind of points, and then he's kind of adjusts. He kind of tries to remember where it is you are in town. You can't go there, though. It is an impossible compound. I don't care who you are, you can't get in there.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
In the box? It is guns. I made a deal. I wanted to protect the bar.
From?
I made a deal with Roberto. We don't like the way... And he is beginning to hyperventilate as he looks across at Regina, and just all of the color has drained from him, and he looks down at himself and he sees this red splash, and he's suddenly very confused about what has happened, and just panic is setting in.
If Maggie...
goes, hey, and snaps at him. He asked you a question.
What was the question again?
Go on, Fantastic.
Roberto, the baker, and you didn't like what?
Hang on. Make sure I got all the names right. We didn't like the way everything was going in town. There's an agreement being made. We're going to... And he looks at Maggie and we're going to get rid of the Germans.
Is he now speaking in English or is he in Italian?
In Italian.
Okay.
Yeah, Fantastic will translate quickly everything that's being said.
Everything went wrong when the Germans came to town.
Is what's his name? Tumacelli, the mafia boss.
Reinhold.
Is Reinhold working with the Nazis?
He works with everybody.
Who's he working more with? Is he working more with the Nazis? Is he making more money with the Nazis?
The Nazis pay him a lot of money to look after people. That's why I'm telling you, you cannot go to that compound.
He looks at everybody else, and he translates what he was just said.
We still don't know who Nellie is.
I'm Nellie! It's what she called me at the time.
The Americans that were here before, because I'm not German, by the way.
Her name was Rain. She would come into the bar and she would call me Nellie, because she misheard me when I told her what my name was the first time.
You know what
Everyone
happened to
does-
them?
What happened to them? What happened to Lorraine?
Do you know what happened?
You think I killed her? That's the American you were talking. She's not American. She's Dutch.
And I'm German.
And
And I'm
he
French.
She's just looking at him, waiting for the penny to drop in that moment.
and he swears in Italian and then German, and then he struggles for an English word as he loses track of what language he is meant to even be speaking in at this point.
Fuck. Fantastic will provide, fuck, shit. Yep, there you go.
Fuck.
Nailed it.
And he goes on to explain that he and Lorraine had been talking about freeing the town. She was going to help him get some trucks and some weapons so that they could get people out, so that they could basically militarize against the Germans that he feels have basically taken over the town and annexed it. He refers to Michelli's compound as Little Germany. Kleine Deutschland.
You said that's where he keeps his favorite women.
Favorite women, his favorite men, he seems to like all kinds. It's not like that. Just, they're special, and he doesn't always tell you why. Some of them are the ones that the Germans ask him to watch, some of them are just people that he finds useful.
Is there an easy way to get a message to this man in this town?
You want to send a message to Tumicelli?
I want to get into
send a
it.
message to him.
Well, we already know that he deals in importing cigars and booze that no one else can get hold of.
There are two men sit outside the bar, Thomas, and I think the other one is Frederick. They do not talk, and you do not ask them questions, but you tell them and they will take it to him.
If this man is fond of the Germans, perhaps somebody can pose as being able to offer goods imported, help make his life a bit easier.
You can try, but he is a very smart man. And he has a lot of people to be very smart for him as well.
How often does he leave?
He comes down every few days. But he is not happy with me. I think he knows about the guns.
So he's the one shooting at you.
I think so.
You have other people that could be... You have a list of candidates that could be shooting at you? You're a bartender.
Look, when you start a secret war, a lot of things go wrong.
Okay, well then who else could potentially be shooting at you?
Thomas and Frederick, and he gives a list of like 3 or 4 other people in town who would not be okay with a secret war.
Okay, so just to refresh my memory, we were told that Anastasia is on a cyanide clock, that she ceases to exist, or she takes care of herself at a predetermined period of time. And this is something that would be common knowledge, especially to somebody that probably did dealings with the Nazis. If that's the knowledge that we have a basis to go on, Fantastic would offer the following bit of information, or following suggestion. Why don't we go talk to him and tell him that one of his favorites is going to die no matter what happens?
It's direct to the point.
We got to get in there, though. We got to get a meeting without getting ourselves shot at. Because once he knows, he can deal with that problem.
Well, if we can't get into the compound, maybe we bring the compound to us. He likes going to the bar.
He does, but that's just been shut up. If he's pissed off with this one over here. I mean, how pissed off do you think he is with you, Nellie?
The sniper shot Marlena. It could have shot me just as easy. It was a message.
That he wants you to stop with the guns.
That he wanted to hear
Or maybe-
Freebird.
I do not know this song. Is it American?
Not quite yet.
Almost.
Almost.
My apologies for being quite frank here, but seems like we have something he might want. And Maggie will turn her back to Nellie as she says this and looks at the others.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts exactly. Nelly for
It's enough.
Anastasia.
It's enough
says
to
in
get us
German.
in. Once we're in, then we can start negotiating.
So what, we tell this one to pack his trunk, say goodbye to the circus, and march him up to the compound?
I don't see why not. This asset is high priority for the US. We need to recover her.
I agree.
Okay, so for the sake of brevity, you know that you have an additional basically 6 days until the cyanide clock runs out. You have an agreement to meet with Rich in, well, we're on Monday, so on Friday, your agreement is to meet with Rich. What is your timeline for this plan? Are you just going to go there tonight? Are you going tomorrow? Are you doing anything else between now and delivering your trade deal?
I think we wait it out overnight because Nellie is now missing. But if this was just to send a message, they're probably not going to be too fussed with searching the entire town. We leave it overnight, we let him stew. We let him wonder who the hell is protecting this guy. And then somebody goes and contacts the two guys he was talking about, maybe?
I got an idea. Why don't we send, what was the girl that came in, said it was too young for me? Francesca. Why don't we say Francesca was pissed at Nelly for his involvement in all of this? Why don't we see if Francesca, who is a good girl in the area, can broker a deal by just saying, hey, if you want Nelly, we want Anastasia. And she likes Nelly, so enough to, you know, maybe there's some way we can work this out. We need to meet and work it out.
I'm down with that.
Neutral ground, maybe. The bakery.
Okay, so let's fast forward to the bakery. Who have you invited to the neutral ground meeting?
Let's swing for the fences. Let's get Tumicelli and Anastasia, and he can bring his boys.
Yeah, we need proof that she is alive and well and with him. And I guess we bring Niels and all of us.
Okay, how do you get your message to Michelle?
Francesca.
Francesca? What is your instruction to her? Is it to go to Thomas and Frederick, or is it just to go up to the house on the hill?
Well, if the appropriate protocol of being respectful is to go to Thomas and Frederick to deliver messages, we have plenty of time to do just that. Have Francesca deliver the message, yeah.
Mr. Fantastic, make me a persuasion roll, please.
I will be using, I have one advantage left, so I'll be using that on this.
Okay.
It's a regular success. Regular success.
Okay. And Maggie, also please make me a persuasion roll.
Yeah. Please be good to me, roll 20. Roll 20 just does not like me. Can I push that, Charlie?
You can push that.
Nope.
So Francesca will deliver your message to Thomas and Frederick, who in turn will take it to Michele up the hill. You all agreed to meet in the bakery, but you receive no word as to whether or not Michele will be there. Niels is a shaky mess and does little to recover his constitution in the time it takes for all of this to be arranged and to meet there. It is well known that he is missing in town. A number of people seem to be unaccounted for from the shooting that night. It's presumed that he was shot and killed, which does work in your favor, although his mother is leading quite the search, insistent that he made it out of the bar with some strangers she did not know. And you wait in the bakery. Make me another persuasion roll, Michael, and you can determine whether or not Roberto and Alphonse are going to be around at this time.
Success, he would do so after hours. He doesn't want to involve either. Roberto could potentially be a loose cannon with this revolutionary talk that he's been, this. We don't need that. I mean, we globally, macro, yes, it would be nice to have somebody fighting against the Nazis. In the bakery, no. So yeah, he'll make sure it's at a later date, like later time of the night.
Yep. You arrange it and have a conversation with Alphonse about it to make sure that no one else is going to kind of be around. A very kind of subterfuge, subtexty kind of thing, just to make sure you're going to be safe and in the clear. And he basically gives you the keys that day and says, sure, you watch over the bakery, you make the extra rolls, that's good, whatever lie you've told him, and you're allowed to be in there. He was injured during the fight at the bar, but he seems to be in good health, and as he leaves you, he makes a salute to the rabbit and disappears out and down the street to his home. And so you are hunkered in this bakery. Are there any traps, pre-arrangements, code words that you would like to establish at this time before the meeting?
Maggie will point out, Anastasia is supposedly some kind of double agent. That's what the intel we have on her is. That she was working for the Russians as a spy within the Nazis. If it comes to it, I'm fairly fluent in Russian. We could always, if worse comes to worse and he won't hand her over, I could always convince her that Russia's come to take her back, protect her from the Nazis that have shown up. If we really have to.
I agree with all that, and Fantastic would have the bakery van ready, and he would make sure that Elsie has the keys, and she can do whatever magic it is that she can do to make something like that get us from here to wherever is safe. Presumably rich.
In Elsie's preparation for this, she wants to do two things. She wants to memorize a route out of here that would get them out of somewhere safe, so she can do it even under fire. It's going to be right there at the front of her head. And secondly, she wants to hollow out a loaf of bread and put a gun in it, her pistol in it, just in case. So she can have it there in case things go down.
Got booby trapped bread.
Mm-hmm.
Regina, any preparations you?
Well, unless the group thinks it's too conspicuous, Regina wants to be working in the kitchen, prepping dough, kneading dough. So like behind the counter, but right in front of her and this dough that she's just pounding repeatedly is her shotgun. They can't see it from in front of the counter, but she can grab and go.
I think we should probably also gag Niels.
Yeah.
Pretty tight. And Maggie will probably adopt a Russian accent from the get-go. Just because if she talks in American, it's going to be really obvious that she is not Russian. They already know that Americans have come before.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll stay mostly silent in this, perhaps letting Michael deal, because he can speak Italian, deal with it. And she hopes she'll focus on trying to speak to Anastasia in Russian.
Okay.
But I think not giving away that we're American is probably a good idea. Because it's most likely these guys that had the previous team killed.
I also want to put Tetley in the bread van, so he can bark if anyone comes in the back door as well, so he can be a good alert system for us.
Tetley alarm set.
Little Tetley alarm set. Then there's a little wind up. He's ready to go.
Awesome. And so you wait. And it's a relatively quiet night in town. And as darkness falls, the streets have emptied. People enjoying a informal curfew since the evening at the bar. But then you hear it out in the night, the sound of a radio crackling and playing. Some Italian songbird crooning out into the night. And then the car engine. And it comes to a stop outside the front of the bakery. There's the sound of a door opening and someone coming out. They go to the front door and the bell rings. And they step into the bakery. It's a short, squat man with broad shoulders, and you can smell cigar smoke in his aura as he looks around and weighs up this bakery as if he's never been in here before. And he looks. They told me you wanted to talk. Let's talk.
Thank you very much for coming. Much appreciated. We would like to present you with an exchange. Anastasi for your meals.
Tell me, why do you think I am interested in that maggot?
Because he disrespected you. Threatened your business. Potentially took money from your pocket.
You give him too much credit. But he is annoying. You hear that, Niels? I find you annoying.
Has Anastasi come in with him? Has he come in with anybody?
He has come in alone. Although if you look out the front bakery window, you can see there are other figures in the vehicle that he has arrived in.
This is when Maggie will pipe up. She's been standing in the corner, probably adopting that same kind of very clipped appearance. Did you bring the girl?
No, I did not, but I brought his mother, who is also very disappointed in Niels.
It's a shame.
You tell me why you want this girl, eh? Why did the Germans want this girl? That is why I'm here. You hit me in my curiosity bone.
Why do the Germans want anything? Because they can take it, just like your town.
No, the Germans are very smart. They always have reason.
Madmen always have reasons.
You think they are mad. Interesting. And he turns and looks to Mr. Fantastic. You tell me why you want the girl. You tell me what she is worth to you.
The reason she is wanted, sir, is because she has information that will make someone very happy and will make everyone else dead. I don't want to be dead, and I'm not the someone that benefits from the knowledge. I'm pretty sure you don't want to be dead, and sir, you will not benefit from the knowledge. You need her out of your apple barrel. She's gonna spoil everything.
She is trouble.
She is
That
trouble.
makes
Those that came before, we're here now. They're going to keep coming, and they're going to get less and less polite.
They will grow very disappointed when she is not here.
You will grow very disappointed when she is not here by the end of the week.
What happens at the end of the week?
Let me say
Come
this.
on, little girl, amuse me.
If you think you will profit from her, you will not. I promise you that. And she's going to fix him with a really hard, intimidating stare that says, I know something that you don't.
Okay, roll me the intimidation.
Success.
And he locks eyes with you, and you see a flicker of doubt, and he says, you know what she is. You know. Do they know? Do they know? And he
They
looks
know.
between-
They know what they need to know. I know what she is, which means you know what she is. But I don't think you realize the kind of trouble that you're going to be in if you don't hand her over. You will not profit from this girl, I promise you that.
And he turns and looks over his shoulder and flicks his cigar, and as he does, two figures exit the vehicle behind him. One goes around to the back and opens up the trunk of the car. And you see something is offloaded and dragged around. The first man who got out of the vehicle comes in and stands next to Michelli, and Michael, you will recognize it as one of the two men who had been watching the plaza. They are trying to make a deal with me. They say that she is more trouble than she is worth. What do you think, Thomas? Is she more trouble than she's worth, or should I keep a hold of her? And Thomas looks between all of you, and you notice there's something strange about him. Something eerie, and it's as you look a little bit closer, you see that his eyes are mismatched. One is green and one is blue. And the blue one is just kind of staring. And it's the sort of thing where you kind of notice it. It's one of those weird oddities. You notice it, and then that's the thing you can't stop looking at. And I would like everyone who is in this room and paying attention to Thomas to make a power save.
Oh, what did I roll? Can I push this, Charlie?
Yes, you can.
No.
Close. Very close. Maggie, you find yourself hearing Thomas in the back of your head. It's a sharp German voice. Ah, this is very interesting. And there's a feeling of pain as something is poking in the back of your head. And it's almost like a migraine is exploding through you. And again, you hear that voice calm in the back of your mind. Michael, you're able to shake the gaze. And you see the second man come through the door, dragging what appears to be a large potato sack.
Can he step in front of Maggie and break the gaze of... Was it Thomas?
Thomas? Yes, but you'll need to make another power roll.
Yeah, he's gonna do it. Damn it. I'm gonna spend luck. That wasn't a fumble, so I'm gonna hit... The hell with it.
Do you want to push roll it?
No, I'm gonna spend 24 luck.
You're gonna spend 24 luck. All right.
Or 26 luck, excuse me.
Okay. Yes, however much you need to spend is fine. You step in and you break the gaze and you just hear this low tut. But Maggie, your head just continues to pound and you feel like a wave of just heat pushing through you and acute pain, and you feel as if you're about to be sick, but the voice has stopped.
She just tries to kind of hold herself up, trying to like grit her teeth through it, because she doesn't want to look weak in front of anyone here.
Okay, so I'll ask you to make a constitution.
I'm gonna spend the 4 points of luck.
You just about manage it. You feel that acid in the back of your throat rising, and it's unbearably hot in this bakery. It's stifling to you right now. But you manage to kind of hold yourself upright. Perspiration gathers on your forehead. Regina, Elsie, what are you up to as this scene is building in front of you?
I feel like my hand is inching closer and closer to that hollowed out bread the longer that this guy is in here. But she's just definitely way more on edge now, especially as he hasn't brought the girl with him. She's ready for just violence like that.
Yeah, very similarly, Regina has switched from her punching hand, kneading the dough, to her less dominant hand, so that she could have that dominant hand basically on the shotgun at the front of the counter. She's ready to go, and keeping a trained eye on these guys.
I cannot offer you the girl, but I can offer you something else that I will think you will find interesting. I think your friends, the allies, whichever one it is, will find interesting. And he waves a hand towards the potato sack, and as he does this, Tetley, by the back door in the band, starts going nuts. There's this yappy woof sound.
Instantly just run after my dog.
Okay.
With my bread. Which is no longer bread, it's just a gun at this point. I'm not carrying a loaf of bread with me.
Alright, you charge out the back. Regina, how do you respond as Timocelli makes this offer and Elsie breaks for the back door?
Regina will grab her shotgun and come around the counter and just stand at guard behind Maggie and Michael. Make it known that she's a part of this.
Okay. And Michael.
We don't know what's in the bag.
Don't know what's in the bag. It's a very large, dense potato sack. It looks lumpy.
We need the girl. You need to be rid of the girl. That's it.
I cannot give her to you, even if I wanted to.
Why?
Look. And he waves a hand, and he ignores your why. And the second guy who's come in opens up the bag, and you see in it, these are large missiles for, and not quite anti-aircraft, but it's like large missiles that have been loaded in here.
Tell me, are you holding the girl for the Nazis?
Yes, for the Germans. They know what she is, and they know what she is used for. And he didn't mean to say that. But there's something about you that has him answering about that.
Tell me something. What will happen to you when the Germans find her dead in your compound 5 days from now?
They will not find her dead.
I promise you, they will find her dead.
Just like when you cut flowers. You put them on your counter and you enjoy them and they're beautiful. The next day, the luster is lost a bit. And in a week, they lie dead in the same vase. Can you stop the flowers?
These can destroy entire fields of agriculture. I'm not sure what your point is. And he says, and he tries to reach for your arm to drag you to take a closer look at these missiles. Look, just look at them.
Does Maggie...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, does Maggie know what these are from any CIA briefings?
You can make an education or intelligence check unless you have a specific knowledge specialism that will help you here. Regina, you make a check. because you have knowledge of weaponry.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
say that again.
An intelligence or education, unless you have a knowledge specialism in weaponry.
Thank you.
Nope.
Nope.
Hard success.
Okay. Regina, you look across and you recognize these. You've seen reports on these. They're mostly rumors. These are modified warheads. These are meant for destroying large areas, more than a regular warhead could destroy. They were said to be being made by the Germans, but they are meant to be prototypes. No one's actually seen one used or seen one in its full fabrication.
Regina aims her shotgun right at him and comes around the table to get a closer look and says, "Where'd you get these?"
I made a deal with the last person who wanted the girl. That's why I know these are valuable. That's why I know that you want these as well. And this is all I can offer you. Believe me, I want to walk out of here alive. This is why I came to talk, to negotiate.
Leave then. Leave, and you'll be dead in less than a week. When the Germans find her dead in your compound, I promise you that.
Das Vidania, then. And he flicks his cigar and he nods to Thomas. Thomas stays by the door, watching all of you closely. Elsie, out the back, as you come out, you see another truck is moving along this back street towards your van, and it doesn't appear like it's going to stop anytime soon, as it is picking up speed, having seen the bakery truck in its way.
I immediately, as soon as I notice that this truck isn't going to stop, I'm like, Tetley, come here, boy, come here, boy, get out of the fucking truck.
Okay, can Tetley open truck doors by himself?
I left the door open.
Okay, left the door fully open. All right.
Yeah.
Tetley come bouncing out, little corgi feet onto Italian cobblestone, and scramble towards you. And out the back of the bakery, there's a loud shunting crash as the bakery van is just pushed with pure brute force by the large vehicle that has come through. Elsie, you have a specialism in vehicles. This is a hard armored vehicle that is being used to basically bulldoze through your truck right now. And the truck is just being pushed. This thing doesn't care what is in front of it. It's just being pushed along. It grates into the wall of a building, leaving a great big scar behind it, but it is yet to hit anything to bring it to a full stop. And this is the noise that you can hear all of a sudden in the bakery, Michael, Regina, and Maggie.
Maggie's, I guess, instinct is to get out of the immediate path of that back door. So she'll probably move forward if they're leaving, kind of almost following them out, but not quite. She just wants to be out of the way. And if she's got Regina and Michael with her, she'll grab onto them as she pulls in the hopes that they come with her.
Okay. The second man will reach down and he'll grab a warhead. It must weigh about 10 pounds, maybe a little bit more, as you watch him pull this thing out, and he chucks it towards Regina.
Come again now?
He picks up the warhead and chucks it towards Regina, 10-pound piece of metal.
Can Regina catch it and just like throw it out the front of the bakery? That's what Regina does.
Okay, make a dex check for me.
Her new
You
arm.
have any weaponry in your hand, you will have to drop to be able to catch this.
Done. And let's go ahead and do some advantage.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Cool.
So you drop the weapon that had been in your hand and you fumble to catch this object that has just been thrown at you, and you hear it clang into the ground. Maggie, you've gone out the front door, following Timocelli. Michael, you watch as this large propelled missile type thing, it's not quite a propelled missile, but that kind of thing, is picked up and just yeeted at Regina, who fumbles the catch. And you need to make a choice whether to help Regina, to go to the back and help Elsie, or to go forwards and help Maggie. Or secret option number 4, which is do something completely different, not related to those 3 characters.
Yeah, he's going to escalate the situation since warheads are being thrown around, and he is going to pull out his 1911 and shoot the guy in the head as he says, "Octung, baby." He's just going to give him a shot.
Alright, maybe that shot roll. And this is on the guy that just threw the... I'll call it a grenade for now. It's not a grenade, but the warhead.
That's an extreme.
Okay. Just pull the gun. He has no time to react. He's just thrown this large metal object. You clock him in the head, and he crumples down. You see Timocelli Reinhold pick up speed and climb into the front of this vehicle.
I've got depending upon how close everybody is, I've got a second or third shot I'd like to utilize at this point. If I can get a shot off on Reinhold, I want to clip his knee or something.
Okay, I will allow you to take the second shot. It's going to be more difficult because there are other people in your way with Thomas and Maggie. It's kind of out there, and it would be like a reaction shot.
A hard?
Okay. You succeed. You just nail him in the back of the knee as he steps up and into the vehicle, and he just crumples forwards, cracking his head on the side of the door frame there.
Maggie, as he does that, will pull him out as he loses balance then.
Okay, Maggie, you lunge forward, you grab hold of this guy, but as you do, I need you to make a power save, please.
No. No.
Spend the luck, spend the luck.
I don't have enough luck. I've only got 6 left.
Oops, never mind.
And you feel that sharp pain in the back of your head, and in a voice that you cannot deny, Thomas commands you to step away from Timocelli and to follow him. And you cannot deny this voice, and you turn and you pivot and you begin to run as you see Thomas taking off in a run as well out into the dark. Elsie, you're out the back. Tetley has come running to you. Your bakery van is being pushed down along the street. Mm-hmm. Everything's going wrong as you hear 2 gunshots in the front of the bakery and the clang of something metal hitting the floor.
Okay, so this vehicle is armored up top, right? Does it have armor protection over the wheels?
The best it has is like mud flaps.
Okay.
Kind of like hard style shielding. It doesn't have full shielding.
She's gonna take a knee and with her Browning high power pistol, just fire off a few shots at the wheels and see if she can hit, to try and like impede this vehicle, before she'll duck back into the bakery because she doesn't want to be in an alleyway, unprotected really. But we'll give a shot a go. No.
You take a shot and it's just like ping. Doesn't go anywhere.
I'll fire another before I duck back in. Just like a frustration shot at this point. Hard success.
You line it back up and you just take a breath, hold it, and release, and you hit the back of that tire. And there's that as air is slowly released through the hole. And you see the form of it just begin to kind of sag on the rim. The truck is still moving right now, but it's going to have serious problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all she wanted, just to impede it. further. I mean, it's already got a truck in front of it, so it's not going to be going anywhere fast, but taking a wheel out is good for us because that'll help us get out here if it decides it wants to chase us. So she's going to duck back into the bakery. But before she joins everybody, she's going to check to make sure Tetley's okay for a little second, and then she'll like run to the front and join in the fray.
Tetley kind of nips affectionately at you and is almost bouncing like it's playtime. Like the Nazis are here. This is game on for him. He's ready. Coach. His little goggles kind of bouncing around. And you can go to the front. And as you do, you hear a couple of gunshots from behind you. Whoever is in that truck is now moving and coming to find out who's taking pot shots at it. Out the front, Maggie, you are running down the street after Thomas, and you hear in the distance, in the back of your mind, the sound of a motorbike engine. Just a revolving growl that is approaching, and you have no control over yourself in this moment. Michael, however, you do have control over yourself, and you've made your way out. You've managed to nail Timoncelli. You've seen Maggie take off after Thomas. It appears almost like a pursuit. She's going after one guy. You've got the guys here under control. Out the back, you can hear gunshots and the sound of Elsie coming back in. Regina, at your feet, the warhead is still there, and it's just kind of rocking. Michael and Regina, you can act kind of almost simultaneously in this moment and tell me what you're doing.
They left the truck, right? And they're just running off into the night? They left the truck that...
Yep, the truck is there, yep.
He's gonna pick up Tomaselli and throw him into the passenger seat as he starts up the truck. And if he can, he's gonna look for Elsie, whoever, and he's gonna yell to them, come on, as he's gonna try to use the boss to get into the mansion if they can.
You crank the engine and it sputters into life, and you call for your friends. Regina, what do you do?
I'm sorry, I have I guess a meta question. How does a warhead work?
It doesn't explode when it's thrown.
It does not. Well, then I run. I'm following these guys out of there, making sure that we're clearing out the bakery.
All right. So you follow Michael out, get into the truck, or are you gonna wait for Elsie?
Oh, I'll wait for Elsie and get Elsie and Tetley into the truck.
All right.
Pile it all in.
Up into the truck. Timoncelli is in severe agony as his knee has just been destroyed and his leg kind of dangles like a rag doll's at a very strange angle. And he says, "You're mad. You're all mad. You say the Germans are mad, but this is insane." And he's just rambling. It's mostly to keep himself present. You can tell like the pain is just destroying his mental functions. Yes, you can, Edelin.
Yeah, Michael's just gonna say, we want the girl, and then you get to keep your leg, maybe. Hard maybe.
You should ask the girl you're with what she is. Do you even know? Do you even know what they've sent you after?
I don't care. I follow orders.
Yeah, Regina, who's grabbed her shotgun, thank you, points it at him and says, "That's right, we're following orders and we're here to get the girl. You're gonna give us the girl." And just kind of pokes him with the gun.
You might as well kill me now.
Don't tempt me.
Do it, pull the trigger.
Is everybody in the car?
Yeah, I think Elsie from the backseat would be like, all right, yeah, so dramatic, and everyone's very impressed at how willing you are to die. Now, you're obviously very keen on telling us what she is, so go on then. I'm all ears. What is she?
And he like hefts himself up in this passenger seat a little bit. And he leans forward to you and he says, "She's not from this world."
And I'm the Queen of England. I'm so impressed. Come on. Whatever. He's
Yeah.
delirious, obviously.
Michael will slide out of the driver's seat. Your Majesty, your chariot awaits, as he indicates.
And she'll do like a little royal wave. Wait, no, it's a king at this point still. Whoops, never mind.
Can you still do the royal wave?
Oh, yeah.
Is that appropriate? Okay.
Right. And you tear up out of town. Elsie, you know the way. You've memorized the maps, and you lead up to this compound. And outside, there are a number of men on patrol. They're not uniformed, but it's clear that they are fully military trained. And they are armed. They see the truck coming up. Is there anything you would like to do to get in deceptively, or are you intending to go in just straight through the gate, essentially?
I don't think deception's on the cards for us. I mean, he's got like half his leg hanging off in the back, you know?
Maggie is nowhere to be seen.
And neither is Thomas, correct?
Correct.
I say we barrel in.
Yeah, we just gun it and let's see if we can flatten some boys as we go in too, you know?
All right. Michael, you were driving. You out to Elsie. All right, Queen of England, put your foot down, love.
All right, where's my driving skill? Here it is, let's go. Ah! Spend a look, I'm gonna spend a look.
For a moment, you put the foot down and it kind of judders, and the thing feels like it's about to stall on you. But then you kind of ease and you go again, and the revs kick in, you change gear, and you are plowing down, and you wibble and you wobble, and you knock out two with like a side slide, and you backwards through the gate, do 360, pull up, and you're outside of this like mini casa type situation with ornamental statues of Venus, lots of leaves and vine leaves, and there's stairs that go up to this large house. The lights are on. There's a party in progress from what you can tell, but it is rudely interrupted by the sound of this vehicle sliding through the courtyard to a halt at the front. You all jump out and you prepare to storm the compound. What is your plan going in?
I want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Michael's not going in guns blazing. He's hiding. I'm hiding from the jump.
Regina will have grabbed Tumicelli at the neck, and she's got the shotgun to him. She's bringing him in as a hostage, and I assume he's just limping as he goes, and she's just
Perfect.
tanking.
Elsie, what is your plan?
I think Elsie just hops out. She's got a pistol out. She's just gonna give back up to Regina. And try to. This is going to be a very distracting thing, so she's going to try and amp it up as much as she can to give Michael an opportunity to do his like stealthiness. So we're going to make a big ass scene, and Michael's going to stealth in, hopefully.
All right, Michael, you stealth, Regina, you charge, and Elsie, you follow. And the three of you make your way through the party. You call out, you demand what you want. Michael, you watch the situation, you see where people move to, who and what they are protecting. And I would like all three of you to make one roll each of a skill that you think applies to this situation, whether that's fighting brawl, whether that's handguns, whether that's spot hidden, read lips. One roll that will determine how successful you are in your part of locating Anastasia.
Okay, so I would like to once again plead my case for listen and then get advantage on it because I have Tetley with me.
No.
Oh, can I have listen? Because she's listening for like people going, go hide the double agent alien.
You know what? Sure. All right. You can have listen, and you can have your advantage for 10.
No, I won't take the advantage.
All right.
Hell
I need
yeah!
it.
Hey.
All right. So, Regina, you burst through in terrifying force. You have to kill a few people who attempt to kill you, but it's like a hitman, you just pew pew and move on to the
And
next.
I'm going single-handed too with this shotgun because I still have him by the nape of the neck, and I'm not letting go, and I'm just and the shotgun sprays. So I would assume, party, I'm getting multiple people on a single shot.
You are spraying, praying, and slaying as you make your way through the party. And with Michael and Elsie watching, it takes you a little while to figure it out. But Elsie, you clock the right word at the right time. You signal to Michael. Michael, you maintain your stealth and make your way through. And together, you eventually find where a number of people are being kept. And you manage to identify Anastasia amongst them. You see her for the first time. She has blonde hair and bright sky blue eyes. And she stares and she smiles. And all three of you vanish, never to be seen again. Maggie, meanwhile, is dumped outside of the safe house a few days later. She doesn't know where she was taken. She doesn't know what happened to her. But in her escape, she tore open her arm. At least she thinks that's what happened. And for the next week and a half, in the back of her mind, she dreams of a German man that she doesn't know. And he speaks to her and he tells her things. And she can't help but do them. But eventually his voice fades. And she makes it to Rich. And she fires the flare gun. There was a massacre at the compound. There was nothing to be done. And it was bombed by the Allied forces not long after, as Maggie flees Europe and back to the US. And that is where we will leave today's episode as we hit the end of our session.
But what about Tetley, Charlie?
Tetley is collected by a young girl named Francesca and taken into the Italian town, where he is later liberated for freedom by the Allies and returns home a war hero. Because Tetley is a god and nothing can happen to Tetley.
Cannot be killed.
A lot of money to save him in action. Nothing can happen now.
It's alternate timeline, Elsie.
And that's where we will leave it today. Perhaps the three of you reappear somewhere in the world. Perhaps you don't. Maggie doesn't know. Maggie barely remembers you. She just remembers that the mission went wrong. So let's go around, say who we are, make sure we're okay, and where we can find you on the internet and all of that good stuff. Let's start with the wonderful Edelyn today. How are you doing?
I am super okay. This was so much fun. You all know that I play with, and those of you in chat that I guess have tuned in before know, like I don't play role-playing games often, so I've never actually had the opportunity, I don't think, to do a one-off like this. Just create a character that, could just come in and shoot people up, and I'd be okay with, her not making it through to the end of the day. If you had said that a warhead was about to explode at my feet, I think I would have been okay with that. Like, it's a one-off. So this was a really cool experience, Charlie. Thank you so much. And V and Susie and Greg, thanks as always for being such fantastic people to play with. It was so much fun. I'm having a blast. I'll be here next week for the finale of Skychasers. So please, chat, come back and hopefully watch the fabulous end of the story. Thank you.
Yes, next week we will be returning to Vegas to round out the end of this epic multi-week campaign. I think we've been playing for about 12 weeks now, maybe 13. Who knows? But we will return to the Sin City with wonderful guest Hawkeye as well and see what fate has in store for our team. Susie, how are you doing today?
I am doing so good. I'm so glad I got to reprise good old Elsie Braithwaite, that Northern lass, the Northern powerhouse that single-handedly basically ended World War II twice. So I'm not gonna just but yeah, I had a real good time. Thank you all so much for tuning in and you lovely folks playing with me. But you can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer who does video games, art streams, and tabletop RPGs. I do have a pinned tweet with a schedule on it. It is wildly out of date, but we'll be getting updated soon. soon with the brand new season. So yeah, follow me on Twitter and you can find out where I am and what I'm doing on any given day.
Awesome. Virginia, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Oh my god. Wow. I kind of feel responsible for the potential death of these 3 characters, because originally when I gave Maggie that scar, Charlie said, "Where did she get it?" And I was like, she got it on an extraction mission gone wrong. So I'm sorry. That was great, Charlie. Everything just went to hell, which is exactly what it should do whenever the wartime is involved in RPGs. So, but yeah, I'm Virginia. You can find me on Twitter at Tabletop Horde. I'll be here next week for the Skychasers finale. I can't wait to see how we manage to, you know, do terribly in that, because Roll20 seems to hate us all. Also on Sundays at 4 p.m. UK time, I'm normally over on RPG Webby for the spy game. And then After the Fire starts this week. It's back on Thursday. So me, Charlie, and Susie are all on there, which is our Game of Thrones stream. We're back for season 2 to find out all of the juicy fruits. And soon I will also be on. Are you getting your tinfoil hat, Charlie?
Ready.
I'm also going to be. That's all right. I'm also going to be on Red Moon Role Playing's podcast that's happening soon for Descent into Avernus, which we're going to be playing through. So I may or may not be playing my typical tiefling rogue with an infernal heritage, because it's me. But I should have more details on that soon. So if you keep an eye on my Twitter, I'll post it up there when I have proper dates and where you can find it and everything. But that's me.
Awesome. And I was going to say something, I've totally forgotten what it was, but I'm very excited for After the Fire. So that's the most important thing. I remember what it was going to be. Okay, so post-credits scene. It's just come to me. Credits are rolling. Everything's beautiful. Great big mystery hangs over us all. We cut to a small motel room in Vegas, present day. We see Maggie with her head held kind of under a shower as black liquid is being washed away. And she straightens up and her hair is transformed thanks to a lot of work, a lot of bleach and a lot of dye. And her good friend, Dr. Rhonda Nash. And as she stares into the mirror, checking out her locks, in the back of her head, she hears a low humming as La Vie en Rose plays in the back of her mind. And that's the end of the post-credit scene. I'm Charlie at Frost from Fire. We will be back in Vegas, as I mentioned, next week, right here, 3 p.m. Eastern on Tales from the Grim. We will, of course, be on YouTube afterwards. So if you watch this on YouTube, hi, how are you? Leave me a comment. I'll come and check them out. And make sure you give us a thumbs up and a like and a follow and all of that fun stuff. And check out all of the other wonderful stuff happening here on Tales from the Grim. Make sure you join that Discord, because I believe Greg is casting at the moment for a show that is coming up, and there will soon be announcements on the next season's schedule. So very excited for that. I know it's all the good stuff. I will be back here on Wednesday for some more May Black Roses Bloom, because we are back from our little mid-season break on that. And my character loves Greg's character, and it's going to be great, and we will save the world together. But yeah, just a great big thank you to Greg for having this game, and to all of these people for playing in it, and for all of you for being here watching it. I'm the new Twitch director over on Encounter Roleplay. We have a brand new season coming up starting in September. Announcements will be made very soon about that. We also have an open casting call. There's a tweet on the Twitter. There will be a new one coming up very soon. So if you're interested in playing with me and other people, make sure to apply on that. With all of that said, Greg, over to you.
Charlie, thank you so much. This was anything espionage, World War II. I just played Sam's The Spy game on Friday. I'm in that awesome state of mind. That was super duper fun. This reminded me a lot of it. I love the characters. It was a great sort of, Force 10 from Navarone type of feel to it that I just really had a fun time with. Excellent, super duper fun. Grimjack215 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. This week's a big one. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. we have our Star Trek, which is the 2D20 Modiphius system, continuing mission. It's our 3rd episode. Again, the aforementioned May Black Roses Bloom on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have a 2-shot for our Friday Fright Nights. It's a double feature. At 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be playing Trophy RPG. And then later that night at 9 p.m., Alien RPG, as GM Travis from WebDM sits down and takes us through the second half of what was a fantastically terrifying mission. And then, of course, everybody, be back here next week, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, for the series finale of Skychasers. I can't wait, and I can wait. This is going to be great. I have had just an awesome time. Sorry for the tech issues. If they were too much to bear, make sure you check out the YouTube. It will be free of all those things. I cleared up there towards the end, though, which was nice as the weather changed. But anyway, thank you to all these lovely people. And as the campfire goes down, there is only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, especially with this roll 20, but you can always role play. We'll see you next week, friends.